Hello, beautiful soul. Thank you for joining me in this short video. My name is Tahlia Tabone and I am a certified psychotherapist, artist, bodywork practitioner, many hats, and a human that is walking this path imperfect and also just completely basking in the joy of everything that this life brings. And I felt deeply inspired to gift you the keys that are the foundations of a 12-month program, Living Unity Consciousness. So I'll dive into a little bit of my own personal journey before we dive into it, because obviously right now I'm just a stranger on a screen to you, I'm sure. I was in my room as a 13, 14-year-old, really confused and deeply depressed and highly anxious and just consumed by my own self and suffering innocently, trying to seek out support, but the support that I was seeking out still wasn't meeting the truth of who I was. It was working with this idea of me. It kind of felt like I was being perceived and not received from the totality of my being, which just perpetuated this feeling of being alone in the world, and this may resonate with you, it may not, and it's not really a pity party here. I'm sharing that in this time frame, I came to realize through writing there was something underneath that was what I was looking for. And this one afternoon I was writing. As I was writing, I said, okay, so if my heart beats, that's the nature of the human heart, it beats, okay? If my heart beats, and my liver functions, my eyes blink, and my brain thinks. I said, if my eating disorder, this addiction at the time, if my eating disorder lives inside my brain, and my brain is a human organ that I leave behind when I'm gone, then who is this that is writing? And this moment in time, when I was quite young, made me contemplate deeply and led me on a journey to unwavering truth. I started listening to a deeper calling, and that deeper calling led me around the world, meeting incredible people, receiving incredible insight, and being in witness to deep loss and transformation, which I'm sure you can also relate to in your own personal experiences, right? And through my journey, I just continue to choose the truth. I continue to choose the truth of my being, which I still do non-negotiably. And this led me to deepen into practical practices of bodywork therapy, of learning how to really utilize the body, understanding the body, how to stay embodied in this journey of vastness and change, how to work with grief, how to work with these human emotions, these human expressions of our being, which led me into studying psychotherapy. So now I bring all this into one container, anchored in living intelligence, anchored in nature itself. And yes, I use these practical tools, these tools of multidimensionality, quantum energetics. There's so much that I use now for myself and that I choose to gift to the world. So in this video, I'd love to speak to the first pillar of Living Unity Consciousness, which is how to navigate the small self-consciousness from a place of wholeness. So first, I'd like to talk about what is the small self-consciousness. So these are perspectives, these are really deep insights of my own, and I really encourage you here to take what serves you and leave the rest. Trust that inner guidance, trust that inner knowing, listen to yourself before you listen to me. And if it resonates with you, you'll just feel it, you'll just know. You'll sit there and say, oh yeah, this rings deep. And if it doesn't, let it pass. Let it pass like water on a duck's back, okay? So the small self-consciousness is kind of like this thing that we've been given as we've come here in the physical world, you know. Before this human life, we decided, in my opinion, okay, I'm going to come down for a human trip. I'm going to experience as pure consciousness, as source itself, as life itself. I'm going to come down and have a human one. So we do. And we come down, drop into this world, you know, with our life ready to be experienced before our very eyes. And in this early stage, I call this pure consciousness. We come here as pure consciousness. And you may see this in children, you may see this, or remember when you were young, there was just this innate feeling of being in the present moment. It was effortless, it was easeful, you know, without the thoughts, without the emotions. When we had an emotion, when we had a tantrum, you know, we just let it pour through us and then we carry on to the next moment, usually playing. So, in my observation to this, I saw and see that, okay, in the early years as pure consciousness, we have these life experiences. We come into this world and this world is maybe doing it a little bit differently. You know, the people in which were our mentors, our guides, our parental figures that we looked up to, we learnt from them. So this pure consciousness, as we grow and as we evolve in our early years, we start to create a small self-consciousness. A consciousness in which is our identities of who we think we are, our belief systems. It's our trauma, our undigested distress. It's all these aspects of being. You know, people call it the ego, and there's nothing wrong with this. It's beautiful. In fact, it's necessary. It's a part of the human gig. You know, I see birds with wings that fly. We don't have wings. We've got a small self-consciousness, as well as all the other bits. You know, fish swim, they've got fins. We've got a small self-consciousness. Yet, in my experience, I've discovered, and from even having therapy myself and feeling like, hang on, something's not quite right here, we haven't learnt how to really work with the small self-consciousness. Okay, so what I'm bringing forth here is a perspective which creates space. A space between you in there, the subject, experiencing the object, experiencing the art form and the living intelligence of a small self-consciousness. So the small self-consciousness, in my opinion, is the polarity of our vastness. The polarity of our vastness. You in there, beholding this entire experience. The one that isn't fear, but knows fear because you're experiencing fear. The vastness is that space inside that is in connection and unified with all things. It is nature itself, it is life itself. And the polarity of that is vastness condensed. Nothing wrong with that. You may resonate with this, you know, that feeling when you feel like you lose yourself. Or I feel like I'm coming back to myself, I need to come back to myself, you know, that feeling. From my personal experience and perspective, I've noticed that it's not so much about trying to find ourselves in this world, it's about how do we cultivate the mastery of never leaving. And that's what this whole 12-month container is about. How can we embody never leaving this space and then bringing this unified, pure essence of us to every aspect of our life? So the first key that I'd love to bring forth here is acknowledgement. You in there, watching me right now, are seen. And that you are not the one that is the thought or the emotion or the magnitude of life and all it brings. It's pain, it's loss. None of that is you. And the reason in which we leave this seat of pure consciousness, in most cases, and I've seen it in my work and in my experience, the reason that we leave, the biggest one is resistance to life, resistance to thought, resistance to emotion. Now this energy, this habit of resistance, this pure consciousness, you in there, experiences resistance. And between you and this resistance, there's this tendency to pick up this resistance, right? There's a habit of resistance here. There's a habit of leaning into resistance more than allowing. We have to leave this space inside of ourselves in order to push something away or to not want it to be there. Just know that that is completely natural and also part of the human gig. Resistance lives within the folds of the small self-consciousness. So when we're choosing to be in contraction, or that is a habit that's taking place right now, there's an energy force that's making us lean more into this energy of resistance. When we're working with this and we're here in resistance, we become more attuned to that which is of limitation. And when we're more attuned to that which is of limitation, the way in which we receive our reality in ourselves is also of limitation. So let's begin to explore that a little bit. How, and I'm asking you this now, how do you currently relate to your life, your thoughts, your emotions? Are you relating to these experiences from a space of resistance? Or is there an opportunity to allow deeper allowing, surrender? And surrender, when I'm talking to surrender here, it doesn't mean to not respond to the outside world, to sit back, relax, and just let everything kind of, walk all over you. Surrender's a different kind of story. When we surrender inside, a deep, deep, deep surrender from within, we create space to allow the magnitude of life to move through us. So when we start to shift our relationship to our reality, and when I say reality, I mean the mind, thoughts, feelings, when we bring forth a sense of surrender, a deep allowing from within, we then never need to leave our seat. And over time, as this is cultivated and deeply embodied, life starts to open in ways that the mind couldn't possibly comprehend. Wisdom starts to appear, insights start to appear, the internal guidance starts to come back online, not because you've done anything or added anything to you. You've just chosen to never leave your seat long enough for you to hear the magnitude of wisdom, of life, of soul remembrance. We can then tune into the vastness and the magnitude of what it means to be in accordance to nature, the abundance of nature, and not getting pulled into the whirlpools of projection and voices that are not of your own. If there's a thought that is leading you outside of yourself, you are totally allowed to not pick that thought up. And when emotions come, you are totally allowed to just feel the emotion. You're totally allowed to feel the sensation in the body in the present moment like you did innately when you were a child. We still experience pain, except our relationship to pain is very different. Our relationship with loss is very different. We can experience these moments of change, which is inevitable, yet be free when we are choosing to relate to the moment from a state of surrender. So what I'm inviting here is a very new way of being, a very new way of relating to self, to the world. What I'm speaking to here is a form of self-mastery that's so worth it. It's true freedom. To create a life of freedom for all. To create a life of unity for all. It first must be cultivated from within. If this is something that has deeply resonated with you and you feel called, there's a deep part of you, the deepest part of you, that silent voice, feels called to explore this in greater depth. A part of this mini snippet of living unity consciousness, I choose to also gift a free psychotherapy session with me, where we can explore the landscape of what is actually present in your internal world, your thoughts, your emotions. We can begin the journey now of creating unity and freedom in this time together, if you so choose to RSVP to this invitation. And it's an honor to gift this to you through self-love, through living unity consciousness. We're so guided and supported through this journey of life, and we need each other. Thank you so much for watching this. And I look forward to our call, if this is something that would truly serve you. Much love.